Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to our guitar lesson, and in this video we're going to be learning how to play Outshined by Soundgarden. So this is a very special video because this is our, first ever Soundgarden lesson. One of my most favorite bands, and I've never done a lesson on them, so it's about time. So, this is one of their, most famous songs and has one of the most, famous riffs of the 90s. Thayil is one of the greatest, riff writers of all time. Extremely underrated. And, this is one of my favorite riffs by him and the band in general. So, one thing to keep in mind is that we are in drop D. So if you want to play along with me and the recording, you're going to have to tune down to drop D. If you don't know what that is, basically, all the strings are just like standard tuning, except for the lowest E string. You just tune it down from E to D. So you would have the notes D, A, D, G, B, and E. So standard tuning, but just tune the lowest E string down the whole step. Alright, so we get started off with the main riff. So before the main riff starts, we just slide into it. So very simple stuff. And the main riff is the thing I just played in the intro of this video. So we're gonna start off with the open low E string twice. And then you're going to hammer on from 3 to 5 on the low E string. It's the D string now, but I'm just going to call it the low E because we're used to that. But we're in drop D, so just keep that in mind. So after you hammer on from 3 to 5, hit 3 on the low E string and the open E. So you go 3, 0, right? And then you go back to 3 again then. So we have this slowly. Alright, after that, you're going to hit the 3rd fret on the A string. And then go 6, 5, 3 on the E string. So all of it's on the E string except for one note. So that's pretty easy. Well, at the start of the song, there's this fill that comes over. It's just Kim Thayil, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Kim is just bending the 5th fret on the D string and then the G string. So 5 on the D, 5 on the G. But there's a bunch of other guitar overdubs going on. We're not gonna cover that because they're not as important. But that's the main riff. That's the first and second verse. So then we get to the pre-chorus, which sounds like this. He switches to the neck pickup, by the way, for this, so let me switch to that. Lower your volume. So yeah, after that, then you go to the chorus. So switch your neck pickup and lower your volume a little bit. What we're going to be doing here is playing the 7th fret on the G and the B string. And you're going to have the open D ringing out as well. So, all 3 of those notes. And make sure you grab the 7th fret with your ring and pinky finger because you're going to need your index finger later on. So don't do this, like this, these two. Use these two instead. So, then so we have the open D string, 7th fret on the G and the B. So it's all together, right? Then after you hit it twice, then you go down to the 5th fret on the D string. The G and the B stay the same the entire time. You keep it at the 7th fret. We're changing the note on the D string. So we have the open D, then the 5th fret, then the 4th fret. So, alright. Then we're going to finally switch the entire chord and play the 5th fret on the D and the 5th fret on the B. So we have this so far, slowly. Alright. And then we have this. So what's going on there is we're going to hit the 3rd fret on the D and the B together. So just the same shape as before, just taking down 2 frets, right? And while this is still ringing out, you're going to use your pinky and grab the 5th fret on the high E string and hit that. So the chord, 5th fret on the high E string, back to the chord. So if you listen to the recording, I'm pretty sure he lets the chord ring out, or Cornell might be playing that, but one of them is holding that chord. So all together for the pre-chorus, we have this. I'll play it slowly. So you repeat that twice, that whole thing, and then to end off the pre-chorus, we do this little octave thing. Sorry. So this is pretty obvious who wrote this part. It was probably Kim, because he loves using octaves in his songwriting, in his solos and rhythm playing. I see it, everywhere. If you look at Soundgarden's catalog, there's a bunch of octaves going on, and it's playing everywhere. So what we're gonna do is grab the 2nd fret on the G string and the 5th fret on the high E string. So this is in the A octave. We're gonna slide it up 2 frets and just hit it a couple of times. So just follow that rhythm, and that marks the end of the pre-chorus. Then we go to the chorus. So switch back to your neck pickup, and then. Sorry, we go to the chorus, not pre-chorus. We go to the chorus, which sounds like this. There we go. So the chorus is actually probably the easiest part to play of the song. The reason being is not because of technique-wise, it's because of the rhythm. Because Soundgarden songs are famous for being very hard to play along to, like on the recording, because they use like very odd and weird time signatures that they don't use like normal, 4/4 it's called common time or standard time. They use very weird rhythms. So. This one is not that hard to play at all, because if you know the song, then you're probably gonna know the chorus. Even if you don't know all the lyrics, as long as you know the melody, you can play this riff very easily, because the riff follows the melody exactly. So it's kind of obvious where Cornell got the melody from when he was writing lyrics. So you can, if you know the song, it's pretty obvious what's going on. So basically, we're gonna be playing power chords, so you can either bar it or you can use 2 fingers. I like to use 2 fingers to add like vibrato to the chords, but you can just bar it like this if you want. So what we're gonna do is we're just playing on the low E string and the A string, right? So I'm just gonna call it the frets. So 7, 5, open both of them, both strings, down to 3. So then I'm gonna go 5/3 quickly. So we have this so far. Again. The next part. That's. I think it's the lyric that goes, "I'd like to say." So I'd like to say. See, I told you it was exactly like it. So 5, 3, open, 3. So all together. Sorry. Then you're gonna go. That's the open palm muted. So this is the only note that's palm muted. So both of them palm muted, and then 3rd fret. So then we go. Hit the 6th fret a couple of times. Down to 5, 3, back to 5. So after we do that, then we're gonna come up to here. That's the riff you hear in between. So there's like the vocal melody and the riff going on at the same time. Then you have this little part, and then you go back to the of the riff. So what this is, you're just going between the 10th fret on the E string and the open E string. Well, it's a D string now, but just 10, 0 basically. And then the last note, the very last time you go 10, 12. You can either pick it or hammer on. He does a mixture of both. So the first time he does that whole sequence once, then he repeats the entire riff again, and then the second time, which is the end of the chorus, right? He does it twice. And then after doing it twice, he does. So that part right there is just, that's the easiest part. It's just when Cornell is singing Outshined. So outshined, 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 outshined. The last time, however, make sure you slide off of it to give it that, effect that they go for. So all together for the chorus we have. Alright, so there we go. That's the chorus. Now, then we get to the second verse. Second verse is slightly different than the first verse. Now we have the same riff going on underneath, which is played by Cornell. So he's playing that, and Kim is playing the higher part. So it's not an overdub, but he's basically playing the vocal melody on top of it for the entire verse. So it's pretty simple. It sounds like this. So that part is pretty simple right there. Basically, you just follow along with the vocal melody of the verse this time. So a lot of vocal melody stuff going on. Chorus is literally the same thing in terms of the guitar part and the vocals, and so is the verse this time. So what we're doing there is some basic D minor pentatonic stuff. So just follow the melody. It's 12-12 on the D, then 10-12 on the G, back down to 10 on the G, to 12 on the D. So then the second time you do this. So almost the same thing, but slightly different. Start off with 12-12 again on the D. Then you go 10-12 on the G, but this time when you go to the 12th fret, bend up a half step. Back down to the 10th fret on the G. So combining both parts together. Alright, so that's the verse part that Kim is playing, and like I said, Cornell is just playing the normal riff that we already learned. Now the only other part of the song that you have to learn is the bridge. So now for the bridge, there's only one guitar part going on. Cornell doesn't play for that part. Go back to the neck pickup for this one, and the bridge, it sounds like this. So it sounds something like that. So it's kind of hard to hear because of it's so low in pitch, and Cornell is screaming over it. And live he plays it. He doesn't play it differently, like the chords and stuff, but the rhythm he sometimes does an extra hit here and there, and throws in an extra note. Just live improv stuff. But on the recording, he's kind of going for what I just played somewhat. So basically, like I said, go on the neck pickup and turn down your volume again. So you're going to play the 5th fret on the A and the D together, and you're going to hammer onto the 7th fret on the D. So then back to the 5/5 on the A and the D. Then you're gonna play this chord right here. So that's the 5th fret on the A, 5th fret on the A, and the 4th fret on the D. So we have this so far. Alright, then you're gonna hammer. Then you can keep this chord shape, 5th fret on the A and 4th fret on the D, and strum it again, but quickly hammer on to the 5th fret on the D. So you're hammering on from 4 to 5 basically. So we have this slowly. So after you hammer on, go back to the chord, and then do this little descending thing. Basically, just hold this chord, 5 on the A and 4 on the D, and just keep changing the note on the D string. So 7, 5, and back to 4. So all together for the first part, we have this. Alright, then basically he does the exact same thing, but just up one string. So instead of being on the A and the D, he's going to be on the D and the G. So the same hammer on, back to 5/5, back to this chord, the 5 and the 4. Do the hammer on again. At the end, instead of going the descending thing where he goes 7, 5, 4, instead he's gonna hit this chord right here. That's 5 on the G and 6 on the B, and then 5 on the G and the B. So the first part is just played on the A and the D string, and then what I just taught you, and then the second part is the exact same thing, just up a string. So the ending is the only different thing. So the first ending is like this. So just go 7, 5, 4. This, you just play 2 chords right there. So that's the entire bridge basically. And then after the bridge, you go into the pre-chorus again. But the pre-chorus at the start, it's where he does this. So basically he plays the first part twice, because the short is just getting into the pre-chorus. The vocals aren't really coming yet, so you play the first part twice, and the rest of it is just the same. Same chorus, same everything, and then at the end they just have a time manipulation thing that goes on. If you know the song, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, just play the second half of the chorus riff towards the end of the song, and then they end off the song with those 4 hits again, and then you just slide off, and that's the end of the song. So not too difficult of a song to play, but still extremely fun to play along with. Once you get the rhythm down, that's the main difficult part of the song, as is the case with many Soundgarden songs. But with that being said, that's all we have for this lesson. So this is our first Soundgarden lesson, so if you want to learn any more Soundgarden songs, let me know down in the comments, and also let me know how I did down in the comments. Besides that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.